All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. This is Rob here at Smirking Gun Reviews. How's everybody doing today? Tonight, we're going to be talking about a show that I just discovered on AMC Plus called The Beast Must Die. Now, I want to ask everybody's forgiveness because I have my allergies are really bad today, and I think I've got a pretty bad summer cold. But I'm going to fight through to try to talk about this new limited series on AMC Plus. I believe it's already aired over in England, but they're airing it here for AMC Plus for the next few weeks. The first two episodes are available. You can watch it Mondays at 10 p.m. I think that's Eastern time. And the reason I was drawn to it right away was for Jared Harris. I love Jared Harris. He's an incredible actor. I really loved him on Fringe and The Terror. Going all the way back, I remember I think the first thing I ever really saw him in was a movie called Happiness, I think it was called. This also stars Cush Jumbo and Billy, I want to say his name right, Howell. And this is about a mother named Frances, played by Cush, whose son is killed in an accident. He is hit by a car. It is called a catastrophic event, is how hard he was hit. And the police don't know what to do. They have no further action. And it's pretty clear that the cops didn't really do their due diligence. And the policeman in charge has just died of a heart attack, leading them to bring in a new man from London named Nigel Strangeways. Now, this is based off of a series of books about Nigel Strangeways. I have not read them. And I think when I was reading a little bit into this, and I'm kind of glad that I have not, because one of the things about one of the main things I would say about getting involved in a property that's based off of something is bringing your own baggage with it. And I find that the best experiences I have with IPs, whether they be comics, anything that's based on a book or a comic or whatever, I always enjoy it more, it seems, when I have never read the source material. And coming from a guy who reads a ton of comic books, um, I find that my entertainment by, when I watch something, a comic book movie or a TV show, I find myself very much more critical and much more like, why isn't it exactly like the book? Why are they doing this? Why did they change that? La 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 la. And it that's not just it. I remember reading all the Harry Potters and being like, oh my God, this could be so much better. And we always know, like, the old saying that the book is better than the movie, right? But I feel like if like, there's some things that I didn't read beforehand, like Shawshank Redemption. I hadn't read the book. Loved the movie. Read the book. It was better than the book. The movie. That was one of the few times where the book was better than the movie. Now this book series is more of a period piece, and this series is modernized, or at least this book that they're taking it from is modernized, where um, the character's gender has changed. The mother's gender. It was a father. Now it's a mother, and Nick Strangeway has PTSD. I believe that's not the way it is in the book series. But not having read any of that, not having any of that baggage to worry about, did I enjoy this despite it? And I mean, it's a very sad and heavy show, so saying you enjoy it is kind of uh, not really the correct wording. Was I intrigued by the characters and the scenario that is going on in the show? So, which I did really like the initial introduction of this, which is the character of Francis meets Nigel Strangeway, who's his first day on the job. He has to take over for this guy who just died, and she wants to know, like, why wasn't, how would he know if everything's been done if it's his first day? And she ends up cashing in her husband's life insurance because he passed, and she goes on a quest to discover the killer the driver, whoever had was behind the wheel of the car, and whoever helped protect and cover up the death of her son. You know, it seems like in the books that this she would be like a side character. She would be relegated to more of a side character when it's based off of a books about a person. Usually that person's the one you follow, right? So Nigel Strangeway would be like the main character, but he feels more like the side character, and she's up in the front. And they've made her the more prominent character. And I don't really mind that, again, because I don't know the source material as well. And so it is interesting that they have a cop who has PTSD. You know, he's left London to come to this place, the Isle of Wight, uh, where he finds out that the police there are very more. It's kind of like the cops in Hot Fuzz, where they just don't really have much crime, and they don't really do too much about it. And they're about community and building relationships there, and he's more of the city cop, so he's like, no, we gotta actually do our jobs, and that's been done to death. But him having PTSD and kind of running away from his trauma that he experienced, the reason that caused him to come here, which involves the death of someone, like a person that was working with him, and then something happening with that person's sister. And so he's very troubled already, but he wants to do a good job as a police officer to this woman, Frances. But Frances goes off on her own, cashing in the life insurance, leaving her job, taking a leave of absence, cutting her hair all off, and beginning her investigation and trying to track down who the person was behind the wheel. And she really doesn't have much to go on. She starts digging, asking questions around, and finally getting little by little details to lead her to a girl who is an event hostess, and how she insinuates her way into her life by lying to her about what she's doing, that she's creating a book, and she's really interested in kind of, using this girl as kind of a muse a little bit, and how this ends up leading her to go with her to her family out on the Isle of Wight, where she's kind of got this mystery man named George on her phone. And it's how we meet George, who's played by Jared Harris, who's her brother-in-law. And everything is leading us towards the fact that the show and Francis's character are leading us to believe that George, played by Jared Harris, is the person that was behind the wheel. But you start seeing things differently a little bit. Could they be wrong? Could somebody else have been behind the wheel of the car? And just the attitude of this family, and you start to wonder what's really going on at this place. And with only the first 2 episodes done, it's pretty decent character work. I don't know how engaging a lot of people are going to find it. I liked it enough to where I will continue to watch it just to see where and how everything plays out, because the acting is very good. The music is very, very intense and atmospheric, and kind of really makes things, raises the stakes or the intensity of the scenes to a different level. The cinematography, like I said, very, very cool. The Isle of Wight is a very beautiful place to look at. And it's not blowing my skirt up, but I am more invested in the characters in this than I am with the show The White Lotus on HBO. And that's only 1 episode in. This gave me 2, so it might be a little unfair, but I could say that more is happening here in this show than on The White Lotus. But White Lotus is, to be fair to White Lotus, is nothing like this show. But I'm big into character and story, and right now the characters to me are way more interesting than the characters on White Lotus. Just to compare something I'm watching. So that's really all I'm going to say about it. Other than Nigel Strangeway's character does start to become, like when he tries to understand the police force that he's a part of, understanding how they deal with crime there, and being so frustrated with the situation and not wanting to deal with his own trauma is when he finally starts to get into seeing whether or not things really were mishandled in Francis's son's death case. And so you know that there's just a certain amount of time before these two characters collide again like they did in the beginning. They almost do, or like about halfway through the 2 episodes. And so I am recommending it if you want something that's kind of a slow 5-week burn show where it's just going to give you little tidbits here and there. And if you're more into character than, say, like action and things like that and just really good dialogue, then you're probably going to really like this. So anyway, that's the review really for this. I don't have much to say. In fact, I probably had more to say about White Lotus, but that's probably because I didn't like it that much. And I had more to complain about. But also because I have a head cold and I'm trying really hard not to snot all over everything. So if you like this review, please don't forget to hit the like button, comment, share, subscribe, hit the bell for all notifications. If you hated everything I said here and you would like to forget the last 11 minutes and 21 seconds, well, about 12 minutes, we can give you a better memory. So for those of you who did like it, please look away. For those of you that hated this, look right here and we will give you a better memory. Here is the memory I choose to give you. Have a great night.
You all right?
I'm fine. I'm fine. Consider that my last piece of advice.